Let's welcome in our powerhouse panel on this Friday morning. Joining Allison and me is Project 21 National Advisory Board member and radio host Christopher Arps and best-selling author and political analyst Mark Halperin. Good morning, panel. TGIF.
Morning.
TGIF to the Friday panel. 3 Fridays in a row, I believe.
That's right.
TGIF, just to warn you, there's a little pandemonium here because we just ordered Chick-fil-A for breakfast. So.
Oh, wow.
That's right. Kids are off of school.
Can we come over? That sounds great.
I ordered enough for everyone, including the very generous Christopher Arps.
With those biscuits, the biscuits in the early morning. Yeah. I wanted to start with you, Mark. So Dianne Feinstein, longtime senator from the state of California. It looks like the governor there, Gavin Newsom, is going to have the opportunity to appoint another senator in the state of California. 88 years old. She could be very close to retiring before the end of her term. So basically, the San Francisco Chronicle had some reporting that a Democrat, a prominent Democrat in California who's known Feinstein for the last 15 years, had a conversation with her a couple days ago and had to reintroduce herself to Feinstein several times during that same conversation. What do you think happens in California? Do you think anything happens there? And if something does, could this be a possible playbook for Joe Biden before 2024 as well?
Distinguished career within the Democratic Party, and this is a very sad situation. It's a very tense situation, and that carefully reported story by the San Francisco paper didn't just have one Democrat citing what they see as her substantial decline, but several, including senators, not speaking on the record. And you saw Nancy Pelosi and others on the record circling the wagons. But I think this is the third round of this, the third type of story like this. She's already stepped down as chair of Judiciary. I think she will not serve out her term. It's sad because, again, her job is so important to her. But I don't think the people of California are being well represented. And there's no doubt, Rob, you're right, that people are going to see a connection between this and what some see as a comparable decline from the president.
Yeah, I think more and more people are seeing that, Mark, to be fair. Chris, we've talked about this before, and this has been brought up many times before, but is it time to think about maybe putting age limits on members of Congress?
No, I'm adamantly against term limits. I know that in this time when we have people serving for 40, 50 years in elected office, it's too much. But I think the people should ultimately decide when people should serve and not serve. So
term limit or age limit, are you against both?
I'm against both.
You're against both.
I think it's the people should ultimately decide.
Allison, complex issue because, for example, my grandmother, 93 years old, be perfectly fine to serve in the Senate.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's different. It's just a matter of, term limits versus age limit, right? So, I mean, if a regular job, you can have until you decide to retire, right? You don't have to retire at a certain age. You can. So, but in a different light, they're serving the people. So you have to make sure that the person you have in office is competent and has the best interest and knows exactly what they're doing.
Well, you want to make sure that the wheel is turning and the hamster is actually the one, that's making it turn.
I mean, Senator Chuck Grassley's 90 years old. He's running for re-election, and he can do 20 or 30 push-ups. So that's a good example.
I've seen that same video. No, so my point is there's term limits on the American president, not on members of the House or the Senate. Mark, final thought, then I want to move on to Elon Musk.
I think it's important to note Senator Feinstein's husband recently passed away, and so this is a difficult time for her, and she's, I think, clinging to the thing she knows best besides her family, which is this job. But I do think that at some point something's going to give here pretty soon. Yeah,
that San Francisco Chronicle article, Mark, that you referenced to, by the way, that sort of hints at some of the picks that Gavin Newsom might make if he is in that position. And it seems like identity politics all over. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Could happen sooner than we think. All right, Elon Musk might be buying Twitter. Just to catch everybody up, what's happened in the last 24 hours. So they call this a hostile takeover. We had Seth Denson, market analyst, on earlier this morning, and he said that, Twitter has a fiduciary responsibility to do what's in the best interest of the shareholders of Twitter. Twitter's trading for pre-market hours right now, $45 a share. He's offering $54 and change. All right, that's $9 more than it's trading for, and $43 billion, by the way. But we are hearing that there is a private equity company that is friendly to Twitter management, that is very woke, that is going to basically give Twitter a lifeboat opportunity here so they don't have to go with this offer. Let me play you a soundbite from Elon Musk yesterday. He did a TED Talks, and somebody asked him, well, if plan A doesn't work out, is there a plan B? Take a listen.
If won't go higher, is there a plan B? There is. We would like to hear a little bit about plan B.
For another time, I think.
Another time?
Yeah.
All right.
Mark, you said earlier in the show you don't think he's serious about this. This is a gimmick. I don't think anybody with $250 billion is going to. I don't think it's a gimmick. I think he's very real about this. Now, I don't think. Put it this way: people say, "What if he buys Twitter and nothing changes?" It cannot get any worse than the way it is right now. Here are some of the names that have been banned from Twitter recently: Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Michael Flynn, the Babylon Bee, Aubrey Huff, Charlie Kirk. Common.
Does not accept your offer. You've said you won't go higher. Is there a plan B?
For another time, I think.
Another time?
Yeah.
All right.
Mark, you said earlier in the show you don't think he's serious about this. This is a gimmick. I don't think anybody with $250 billion is going to. I don't think it's a gimmick. I think he's very real about this. Now, I don't think. Put it this way: people say, "What if he buys Twitter and nothing changes?" It cannot get any worse than the way it is right now. Here are some of the names that have been banned from Twitter recently: Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Michael Flynn, the Babylon Bee, Aubrey Huff, Charlie Kirk. Common theme with all of these names. A lot of those are conservative voices. Mark, what do you make of this?
Twitter is overrated. It's not used by very many people. People in the media use it, so people in the media think it's super important. Musk uses it and doesn't like it, so he wants to buy it and change it. There are things to fix about it, but this is all just a joke. This is just one of his normal outbursts, and I'd be stunned if he bought it. The price he offered is overly generous. Even at the price it's trading at, I think is overly generous. This is a company that has no revenue model and doesn't have a mass audience and never will.
Yeah, this is me, and I'm not a billionaire yet. But if I were offered $43 billion for my company, I'd say, well, we'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
Good luck. Where do I sign? There you go. Enjoy. We'll see what happens. Could develop over the holiday weekend. Have a great Easter. Have a great Passover holiday, everybody. We'll see you again next week. Chris Arps, Mark Halperin, thank you.